When is it a good time for you to let your transgender child transition? Yes, that is a question. So if you want to hear that kind of answer and listen to that kind of conversation, stay tuned because here we go. There are many heartfelt stories circling the internet these days about how difficult it is to be the parent of a transgender child. Some as early as 3 years old declare that they are the opposite sex, and there is apparently no way to change the mind of a child somehow.
Did I just hear someone use a microaggression?
One such story reported by Vice Media portrays such a story, but watching the heartbreaking tale only infuriated me. Children can be adorable, whether they're transgender or not, and one can't exactly fault a child for wanting to be a different gender. After all, it is what kids do. Children want to be cowboys, astronauts, cats, and all sort of different things. I know a particular little girl who likes crawling around on the floor, convinced she's a cat. I don't have the heart to tell her on a regular basis that she's not a cat, but I do mention it from time to time just to ensure that she's not delusional. Let's face it, half the time children can't decide whether or not they want Kraft dinner or chicken nuggets for lunch, much as well as, a procedure as serious as a sex change at that age. What's the big deal about keeping your 5-year-old son out of a dress? If you're someone to play with girl toys, I really don't see the harm in that. But there's a difference between choosing pink and blue toys and altering your child's body for the rest of their life, screwing with the natural process of life. Body alteration isn't exactly the problem here. This is strictly an age of consent issue. People have to be 21 years old to drink, 16 years old to drive, 18 years old to gamble or consent to sexual activity with an older person, or even get a tattoo. Society has agreed on all these specific standards for a good reason. People must be old enough to make mature decisions that may permanently alter their lives. So why are there no age limits when it comes to transitioning or altering your body? We seem to have age limits for all these other things that seem to be important in society. Why not this too? When it comes to speeding up or slowing down puberty, parents of transgender children seem to forget the massive amounts of psychological problems that come with it. Altering a child's hormones changes the way they think, the way they act, which could lead to more serious problems approaching adulthood. The main problem seems to be coming from parents who lack the ability to say no. The Vice Media special I watched portrayed a grief-stricken mother whose friends had abandoned her after she allowed her son to transition at age 5. Being a single mother, she found it easier to give in to her 5-year-old to sit and wait to see what happens with her child, whether or not that child's mind changes. This takes time, and not a month, not a week. I'm talking years. Sometimes you just need to say, hey, we'll see it through. You're not old enough to make that decision yet. Though young Kai here insists that he is a girl, it is not up to him to decide. That choice is the parents to decide until the date of his 18th birthday, at which point he can be free to do whatever he wishes. Once he turns 18, once you're a legal adult, then you can decide what you want to do with your body, whether or not you want to transition or not transition. And I understand that at some point, that boy needs to be able to grow breasts for some reason, okay? Or have things removed permanently for some reason. There might be a certain age where you can't allow that anymore. I totally understand that. But at the same time, what does it matter? This is your child's head. This is your child's heart. This is your child. Maybe you should be allowing some more time to pass through to see if this is just a phase. With the countless amounts of transsexuals now transitioning back to their original sexual identity, they sleep well knowing they didn't alter their body to the point of no return. For others, it is simply too late. The suicide rates amongst the transsexual community are indeed at an all-time high, particularly with biological males. These boys are victims of a society that encouraged them to remove their penises or pump their system full of estrogen before they truly discovered who they are, leaving behind a human being that belongs nowhere, part of a disfigured community full of hormonal anomalies, botched surgeries, and silicone nightmares, which may be ideal for some, no judgment here, but may not be the decision that should be left for a toddler or a young child to decide. As a parent, denying your child what they want and providing what they need is part of being a good parent. It also builds the child's character as they now understand that they can't always get what they want. Kai's mother has already begun stunting her son's puberty, a decision she will no doubt regret when he reaches his teenage years. Weak parenting can be just as harmful as neglect and equally traumatizing. Had his mother put her foot down and reasoned that there will be a time and place to consider alterations, she may have avoided the heartbreak she now faces and will continue to deal with as her son/daughter grows to be a man/woman. When Kai's pushing 6'3" and built like a football player, when the Adam's apple is no longer concealable and those feet grow to size 13, there will be hell to pay, and mommy will pay the price. The answer is very simple here, folks. Children should never be able to biologically transition. Transitioning to the opposite gender is a grown-up decision. A grown-up decision, not a childish decision. It's not up to a little child to decide whether or not they're going to chop off their penis or stuff their system full of hormones or estrogen or whatever. This is a grown-up decision made by a grown-up. Any parent that allows their child to transition and, work against the natural order of their own body should not be a parent in the first place. They need to be able to say no to their kids. It's that simple. Learn to say no to your kids. Trust me, in the end, they'll thank you for it. But for now, you have to make that decision. You need to be the grown-up. And obviously, from what I've seen, what I'm seeing here on these videos and whatnot, okay, you guys aren't being grown-ups. You're not. You just want your children to love you. Guess what? If you put your foot down and say, hey, I'm the parent here, okay, and you're not old enough to make this decision, you can't get a tattoo, you're not allowed to smoke cigarettes, you're not allowed to gamble, and guess what? You're not allowed to be the opposite gender either. Not until you're old enough to decide that, because that's a huge, huge decision. But anyway, that's my opinion on it. Many of you may have realized that I haven't been online for quite some time. It's been over a year since I've made a video. YouTube took away my ads. That's basically it. I stopped getting paid to do this, and I have other things like, my books that I'm working on and all these different projects that I'm working on that will eventually pay out. Unfortunately, the videos don't really pay. And it's becomes more and more difficult to make videos for you guys. I have started a Patreon account. If you're interested in donating, have at her. If you're a fan of the show, also pick up one of these, the Politically Impaired mug. There's also a phone case you can get as well. So I'll leave the link in the description for that. That way you're getting something, I'm getting something, everybody wins. I'd much rather sell you something, and you get something out of it than me just, ask for donations, which I don't really think is a good idea, but, we'll try it. For those of you who have stuck by me through the last year and didn't delete me because I wasn't producing anything, I thank you very much for your stamina, and thank you for enduring. I appreciate it a lot. And, yeah, it's because of you I'm still doing it. So, round of applause.